Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to have the discussion on the topic the healing stream. Now, there are many of us, most certainly those who are quote unquote from the black race, African people, people of African descent. We see where in our race, in our societies, in our cultures, where there is a level of inherent mistrust among us where, for example, we're not having a civil war. There's no war going on amongst ourselves, but yet still you find that, or should I say, no declared war among ourselves. But you find that our men have found so many things to be divided over, or women have found so many things to be divided over, or children or communities are finding so many things to divide us, and so many reasons why we ought not to be existing together in love and unity. There's so many things that are dividing us, and we're seeing it in our relationships. We're seeing the relationship that it's almost like there's a battle of the sexes going on. We're seeing where there is little to no respect left for the black woman, where our black men, majority of our black men, have stripped the black woman naked for the world to see, where majority of our black men are dehumanizing our black women whilst putting women from other races above our black women. And yes, whilst I can concede that we also are a part of the problem as black women, quote unquote black, as we have been so named and claimed, yes, we are also a part of the problem. Because, for example, you will find that a mother, a single mother, who a man has impregnated and have gone away and left her, abandoned her and her children, the same woman would encourage her son to do the very same thing that his father did to her to another woman. Where you find that black women, quote unquote, are not holding their sons accountable to stand up as men and to take care of their responsibilities and not to be womanizers. And you find that there is a great amount of hurt and pain in our society. You find that, yes, black women, we are, in fact, whether we are conscious of it or we are unconscious, we are teaching our men, our boys, and our girls what the standard of beauty is. We are, in fact, unconsciously, and some of us consciously, are teaching our men and our girls that the woman who has the natural, authentic hair that we're running after, the fact is that because we're trying to aspire to look like her, then she now becomes the premier and ultimate standard of beauty, and that somehow we are substandard because we don't have the quality hair that she has, and so, or the texture here that she has. And so we're teaching our men and our boys what the standard of beauty ought to be. And that is a false narrative that we're teaching to our men and to our girls. And so it doesn't matter what level we are educationally, financially, and otherwise. You find that a quote unquote black woman does not feel that she's properly dressed unless she is wearing false hair, the hair that is mimicking that of another woman. And so we'll make reference to say that our hair is bad and the hair of another woman is good. And so we'll pay an exorbitant amount of money for hair that mimics that of another woman. So we're teaching to her our sons, and she's teaching to her son and her daughters that that is a standard of beauty, and that somehow the black woman is lacking in that, and so she has to pay for it. And we're teaching that to our men and to our girls and to our boys. So yes, we also have a role to play in this. But the question then also is, what is the role of our men, the head of our households? When there are so many broken homes, there are so many children without fathers. There are so many of our men who have taken on the persona and the name of dogs. You find that our men, our black men, are now self acclaimed dogs. This is the state of the race and the nation, that our men and majority of our black men feel it comfortable to walk around and making reference to themselves as dogs. And then at the end of the day, the repercussions lies with our children. The repercussions of our actions, we see it in the eyes of our children. We see it in the pain of the children, because there are many children who are disadvantaged because of the position that their fathers have decided to take, to impregnate our black women and to run away and to leave them. And you find that majority of our black men are now finding it as some sort of a sport. How many black women can they impregnate in their lifetime and run away and leave them and their children? And this is the state of our nation. And so the issue now is that for many of us, once we have opened our eyes to the reality that we're free, and it wasn't designed for us to be free based on the wishes of our colonizers. It was not designed for us to attain university education or any level of education. It wasn't designed for us to be able to own businesses. But now we're able to do that. And then the question is, what is our generational responsibility? Our foreparents gave their lives so that you and I can be free. The prophets have come and they have spoken. We hear it in one of the most popular songs of Bob Marley, Redemption Song, and a line in the song which says, "Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds." And the fact is that our foreparents, whom we are light years ahead of as far as education is concerned, as far as technological developments are concerned, and they were able to physically free themselves. Now it is our responsibility to free ourselves from the mental bondage that is binding us and destroying our race and our children. We have a responsibility to begin a healing stream. There are many who are hurt and are broken in the nation, because you find that our colonizers, we are now free, physically free from the enshacklement of our colonizers. But then you find that our colonizers have changed complexion. Because once upon a time, our colonizers were, it was clear, they were white people. Now, you find that the oppressor has now changed complexion. And the oppressor is looking like us. We have now taken up the whip of our oppressors, and we are oppressing each other. We see it in families. Families cannot gel together Other races, other nations, they gel together, they work together. We have become agents of destruction for ourselves. Families cannot come together and start businesses and own businesses and properties. Majority of us, we cannot exist together and coexist and build. And so it is our responsibility to begin this healing stream. If you are a man and you're of the view that you must be one of the greatest womanizers out there, and that you must get at the very least 5 to 15 children with different women and leave them. And you know, we're now in the stage where you have some of our men who believe that if they can give the children some money at the end of the week or the end of the month, that is sufficient. That's not sufficient. What you put in your children is greater than what you're able to give them. And yes, to be able to take care of your child financially, that is also your responsibility. But you also have an equally important responsibility to instill in your children good values, good morals, great and strong self-esteem and sense of self and self-worth. We have a culture too where, and so you find that it's a collective responsibility, where the community, where families, once a child is born, a male child, we begin to prophesy over the life of this young baby boy, a baby, that he's going to become one of the greatest womanizers. He's going to break a lot of hearts. The girls are going to be chasing and falling and crying after him. He's going to have a lot of girls. He's going to be a girl's man. But then we're seeing the repercussions of that. We're seeing how many families are broken. We're seeing how many children, how many girls are growing up with low self-esteem, with a hollowness within them. We're seeing how many of our boys are being siphoned off in the wrong direction because they don't have that father figure in their lives. And so as women, we do have a responsibility as well to ensure that we are cognizant of the men that we are allowing to impregnate us. We have to be able to be conscious of that. And our men, you have to be able to begin to take more pride in your nation, in your race, in the color of your skin. Because at the end of the day, you are powerful, you are strong, and you are the one with the responsibility to lead your family, to lead your nation, to lead your race, and to lead your children. And so that is a position. We have to begin a healing stream. It can no longer be permissible that the purpose for entering into a relationship is to see how many people we can hurt. Because in hurting someone else, we are causing a chain reaction of a generational curse and generational hurt and pain. We have to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. We have to wake up and we have to begin the healing stream. You find that, as I indicated, we're not having a declared civil war, but yet still our men, majority of our young men, have turned against each other, just killing each other for things when we look into it deeply, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And so it begins with the man in the mirror. The healing stream begins with us. Do unto others as we would have them do unto us. But at the end of the day, when we begin to love our skin, when we begin to love who we are authentically as chocolate brown people, African descendants, when you are able to love yourself, you will love those who look like you. But at this time, because of the state of the nation, we may say we love ourselves, but the things that we do with ourselves says otherwise. A black woman may say, I love myself, but the fact that you are unable to feel comfortable in your own skin, you are unable to feel comfortable in your own hair, and that your hair has to be covered with that which mimics another woman. The question is left to be asked, do we really love ourselves? And what is it that we're teaching to our men and to our boys? I know that we are suffering under years of conditioning in the negative to hate ourselves. And it is so unconscious that there are many who are unconsciously haters of themselves. And that it takes a lot of work and consciousness to dig ourselves out of it, but we can. We can begin to truly love ourselves. We can begin to truly accept ourselves as one of the most beautiful nations on earth, if not the most. We also have a place. Your skin color and complexion. You can stand in the midst of any race and hold your light. Because if we look at it logically, we are the only race who looks like this. It means that we are the gems. We are the pearls of this earth. And yes, we have been tricked into believing otherwise. But once you open up your eyes to realize that we are the gems of this earth, we will begin to love ourselves and treat each other, our nation, and our race with a greater and a higher standard of love, and be able to live in unity together in oneness, and to raise our families and to grow and to flourish as God has intended us to grow and flourish. I love you all with the love of God. Let's begin the healing stream to dig ourselves and our nation out of that which we are suffering under. God bless you all.